Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
So it'll be 1st and 10 in Blue Jay territory under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Jason Cadle from shotgun. He takes the snap. He hands off to Shane Shuman immediately, who lowers his shoulder. The ball is loose on the ground, and they are not going to call it dead. Gabe Ellis is going to pick it up and cross the 50-yard line now to the 40, to the 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. He's gone. It's a North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jay touchdown. 20-0 here in North Judson.
And a good Saturday morning to you here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Columbi along with sports analyst Chris McGowan, as we have two of our area teams moving forward as they are sectional champions this morning. Let's get right into it. You heard the North Judson play of the game last night. That was Gabe Ellis picking up a fumble recovery for a touchdown. The final score there in North Judson last night for our game of the week was 54-0. A tough loss for the Culver Cavaliers. We'll have a chance to talk to both head coaches within this hour. You won't want to miss that one. Of course, the Knox Redskins, they took it to Jimtown last night, 42-21. Chris, you got to be happy if you're a Knox Redskin fan this morning.
Oh, yeah, it's always nice when you can go to a place like Balgo Township and Jimtown and come away with a victory, especially when there's hardware on the line.
Absolutely. We're very happy for Knox Redskin Nation as they are sectional champions this morning, along with North Judson-San Pierre, both Stark County schools continuing. Stark County football is something to see right now. We move on into the West Central Trojans, one of the best seasons by far in a long time there at West Central. Head coach Marc came into the sectional championship game last night, only losing one game throughout the entire season. A lot of hopes heading into last night. It was a tough loss, unfortunately, for the Trojans. 47-6 was the final as they traveled to Carroll. And let's go ahead and bring in Marc, head coach of the West Central Trojans. Good morning, Marc. Thank you for taking the time.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah, we're not too bad.
A little wet, but hey, other than that, we're doing well. All right, Coach. You had the season this year. Obviously, I think probably. I would say met your expectations on what you had expected how this season to go with what you had coming back, but you kind of ran into a buzzsaw last night. Tell us how that game went down.
Yeah, our season, as we set a lot of goals last year, we met every single one of them, but last night was would have been like an icing on the cake type of situation for the season, but we needed our absolute best effort in every best situation and scenario to go forward last night, and we didn't get that. We were a little bit behind right away because we were without two of our two-way starters for the game last night due to injuries. We didn't have Jacob Pilarski, who was our fullback and our leading tackler on defense, and we also didn't have Buzz Beiswinger, who was our leading offensive and defensive lineman this year. So we were behind as far as that was concerned right away. So as far as best situation going into it, we were already back behind that. But yeah, Carroll is a really good team. They do a lot of nice things, and we just didn't do enough. We had some guys that played really hard. You can't take anything away from how they played. They played really hard and did some good things, but Carroll's just a really, really good football team, and they've got a lot of guys that had a lot of experience off of last year's team that went to regionals, and they've put in the work to get back there again this year. So they did a really nice job, and there wasn't much in that first half that we could do to slow them down. But we did play hard, and happy about our guys' effort and everything they did last night and throughout the entire year.
All right, we'll go ahead and give you the opportunity here. One of the toughest things that that I've always had to do as a head coach is when that final game is over for the seniors, to come in the next day and this kind of finalizes it for them. Go ahead and tell us, talk about your seniors.
Yeah, our senior group was a big one. They stuck together, and actually they got larger as they went through their high school careers. And it is that group that what they did as far as leadership and keeping everyone together. That's the big thing about what helped turn this year around into us having a very successful season. And you have to start with Buzz Beiswinger. He had a great season. Last year, going into the season, we weren't sure if he was even going to be able to play because he was coming off of a hand surgery, and we weren't sure if he was going to be clear in time or not to play. And he played, but did he struggled a little bit with some second guessing about his injury and whether or not it was fully okay. And this year, he had a full off season and came back and did a great job for us as far as leadership was concerned. And then his play on the field was excellent as one of our best linemen on offense and then best lineman on defense. On the year, he ended up with 65 total tackles. So that's a lot of tackles from the defensive lineman position here. He was ended up being our second leading tackler on the year, and he also had 24 tackles for loss and 5 sacks and 14 quarterback hurries. So he did an excellent job for us. Aiden White, another one of our guys there that has been with us for since his sophomore year, had a great season for us. He on defense ended up with 56 total tackles, had 2 interceptions, and one of those was a touchdown, and he also had 2 fumble recoveries, and one of those he returned for a touchdown. Offensively, he was our third leading rusher on the year with 411 yards and also had 577 receiving yards. And it was just a tremendous asset for us this year and with what we were trying to do. Then we have Riley and Joe Jackson, who are guys that played all 4 years. They're offensive and defensive linemen for us, and they really came into their own this year. And really, is I think midway through last year, Joe really started to turn some things on and figure some things out, and he just continued that this year. And Riley has been our biggest guy we've had on our team for several years, and he used his size this year to how we thought he could have all 4 years, and they did a great job for us on defense. And both those guys were people that we could always count on, that they were always going to be there and do what they were supposed to. Colton Tarr, another one of our guys that played all 4 years, was a receiver and defensive back for us and did a great job being that mainstay there that we knew that what we were going to get out of him. He was going to do a great job blocking for us on offense, and then he was going to do his job on defense. And he's a guy that we felt comfortable that if on defense, if things got to the outside, he was going to make a tackle. He's not afraid to go hit people like you sometimes see in college and NFL with some of the cornerbacks. So he did a really nice job for us, and was really pleased with what they do. Then we had several other guys that came out this year. We also had Chase Mitchell, who was a receiver and defensive back as well. He ended up with 101 receiving yards on the year and 2 touchdowns. And then defensively, he rotated in there with several different guys and contributed a lot for us. And he was another guy that played for 3 years. Then we've got several guys that this was their first year coming out, and their first or second year coming out. And these are guys that we had tried to get out to come out earlier in their high school careers, but for whatever reason they're a little hesitant. But this year they came out, and I'm very pleased that they did. We have Carter Luark came out and played a lot of special teams for us, and occasionally would get in there on defense, and just did a tremendous job on kickoff coverage, punt coverage, and then on kickoff return and those things. Just did a great job of doing what he was supposed to. There's also Carter Hudson. He as well did a great job of doing those special teams things. And he's in the North Light game, he returned a kick for a touchdown, and that really helped swing the momentum in that game. So just did a tremendous job special teams-wise for him as well. And then Zion Rodriguez, as a kid, we tried to get out several years and finally came out for us. And on offense, he was one of our rotational guys at wings if we needed breaks. But played defense for us and did a great job defensively. Defensively, he ended up with 57 total tackles, 2.5 for loss, had 2 sacks, and then also had 3 interceptions, and one of those he returned for a touchdown, and then also recovered 2 fumbles. So there's a lot of guys out there that did a lot of work for us, and they put in a lot of time, and unfortunately for them, the season's now over, and it's one of those things that, as you know, as a coach, that hurt at the end of the game. There's nothing you can do to take that away from them, and that's I think as a coach, the worst thing you go through is that you see that they're in pain, and there's nothing you can do to help them out. But those guys, as I told them last night, there's no reason to hang their heads. They've got a lot to be proud of this season. And they've done a lot of great things that it's been a long time since we've done at our school, and nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from them. And so they need to be proud of what they did.
Coach, one thing you said there at the beginning, I just can't get over. I keep running it over and over in my head, is the injuries you had last night. You said Buzz Beiswinger was out last night. Is there anything that you can share with us, the reasoning behind that? He is one of the top players you have, as well as the other, I forgot the other. Pilarski. I mean, those are 2 guys we remember very well when we came to do your game against Winnemac. Boy, that had to be tough to go through that last night.
Yeah, those were, going into the game, we knew we weren't going to have them, so we tried to do the best we could with trying to fill in gaps. But Jacob had gotten injured on his first carry last week against Taylor. He came down on his shoulder and just couldn't get comfortable with it this week to be able to go to give us everything that we would need out of him. And then Buzz got injured during school on Wednesday. So that was as we talked about throughout the season. One of the big things that's been different about this year is we haven't had a whole lot of injuries, and then have those 2 big ones here going into this game this week. Those were costly, but again, Carroll was really good. So I think the game could have been closer with those guys, but Carroll's a really good team.
Well, Coach, it's a tough way to go out, but you're exactly right. The players need to hang their heads very high. Is a fantastic season overall. Only losing 2 games throughout the entire year. You personally have to be very happy with the way it ended. Well, not with the way it ended, but with the overall record is what I mean.
With the team, yes. Very proud of these guys. They've first conference championship in 24 years, beating Winnemac for the first time in 10 years. So those are huge things, huge accomplishments. And then getting to a sectional championship for the first time in 9 years. So a lot of great things these guys did, and it's going to hurt for a while here, but hopefully they eventually will be able to look back and just be happy with everything they were able to do, and hopefully we've set a new standard for what we need to do with our football program, and we can keep improving as we go forward.
Well, Coach, I hate goodbyes, but it's just been a fantastic season, and being able to talk with you each Saturday morning, I so appreciate everything you've been able to give us here at K99.3 WKVI, because without you, we wouldn't be able to have this coach's show. So we appreciate you coming and talking to us every Saturday. Thank you so much, Coach, and we appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you for all the coverage you guys do for all the area schools and the kids, and letting people know how great these guys are in the community. So thank you for everything you guys do as well.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot. Congratulations on a great season overall.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's head coach Marc Hall of the West Central Trojans this morning here on the Saturday Sports Line. Tough loss last night, but overall, the West Central Trojans lost 2 games throughout the entire 2022 campaign. That is very, very impressive. We congratulate the West Central Trojans on a fantastic year. We are going to take a break. We've got a special guest in the house. Head coach Mike Zehner of the Culver Cavaliers decided to come on in and say hello. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928.
That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Browns. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we've been serving family farms for over 130 years. We've seen our customers succeed in good times, pull through in tough times, and we've learned some lessons along the way. So we appreciate the customers we have today by finding the solutions they'll be looking for tomorrow. Are you ready to talk about your farm operation? Stop by a branch or visit us online at ffbt.com. First Farmers Bank and Trust. Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked third most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Ball spotted at about the 5-yard line. Harper takes the snap, hands off to Cheyenne Allen, who's met by a Cavalier immediately. That's number 32, Ian Brown, who helped bring Cheyenne Allen down. And then another couple of Cavs came over to do the rest of the help that was needed.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Columbi, along with sports analyst Chris McGowan. We have head coach of the Culver Cavaliers, Mike Zehner, in-house for a quick interview. A tough loss last night, Mike, but overall great season for you guys. Coming to see you guys in practice. The overall vibe there at Culver, I told you in practice the other day, I really wish I'd played football after watching your practices. It just, there's something about going over there to Culver, your whole coaching staff, the environment. It just really made me think I should have played football when I was in high school, Coach. But tough loss last night. We appreciate your time today. Go ahead, Chris, with your first question.
Well, my first question would be: have you introduced him to Kyle Kling yet?
I think he found who Kyle Kling was as soon as he stepped outside the car. You know, he was walking over and I go, "Yep, that's Coach Kling. That's who we talk about." And, okay,
I got it immediately.
Right.
Yeah. No, he came in rare form. That's for sure.
All right, Coach. I think I said it last night on the air. With the seniors you graduated last year coming into this season, I think if you'd have been told before week 1 that hey, you're going to have a winning record, you're going to be playing for a sectional championship, I think you would have said, okay, where do I sign on the dotted line? I think you'd have taken that. So
no doubt. We talked about that with the team last night as well. After on the field, like, hey, not sure we had much high expectations for this group. Not me personally, because I did. But a lot of other people, outsiders, and
right.
You take, we're 7-5. We take those 5 losses. It's 2 of them are to North Judson, who was number 3 team in the state. One of them is to LaVille, who was the number 2 team in 2A. Then you had obviously Knox is still rolling. That was one of our losses. And then Triton, they were a top 10 team in 1A as well. Not bad losses.
Right, right.
We got some decent wins in there as well with beating Pioneer for the first time ever in school history. And then, you guys just talked Coach Hall, and he's a friend of mine, but that they had 1 loss on the season all the way up until last night, and that was us. So we did some good things obviously throughout the season. We probably talked about the game a little bit last night. Obviously, hats off to North Judson; they're a good football team, and we knew that going in. We knew we were going to have to throw the kitchen sink at it. And the problem was we just didn't catch the kitchen sink.
Right.
We did some good things. I like scheme wise what we did. Talking with Coach Faust, Coach Kling, they did a great job scheming and doing some things personnel-wise and getting some matchups we wanted, and we just didn't execute at times. And it's frustrating. Obviously, you look at 4 turnovers, and we haven't had 4 turnovers in a long time. But when those go for scores and other things, those are tough. Big plays we talked about. There's going to be a lot of big plays in the game last night, and we got to make some of those plays, and we didn't make enough of them, obviously.
Okay, again, like I told Coach Hall, the time, the hardest thing you have to do as a coach is come in and say goodbye to your seniors on the radio show. It's something I never looked forward to, but go ahead and give you the time here to talk about the 10 graduating seniors that are going to be leaving the Culver program.
Yeah, man, I thought the longer I'm in this, the easier this gets, and it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It definitely doesn't. Talking with my wife and stuff afterwards, it's just like, man, this isn't easy. This is an easy group to say goodbye to. Obviously, there's a lot of history here for Culver. We'll get into that when I go through them. I got 10 seniors. I'm going to go down just numerical order.
Yeah, please.
And talk about each one. Jason Cadle is our quarterback, number 1. Also played corner for us. He was a 4-year letter winner, 3-year starter. Played some special teams as a freshman, but then also played corner for us. Little guy, but he's got that wrestler mentality. He's going to come up and lay a stick on you. He's going to be one of our better hitters, better tacklers at the corner position. And he really took the new offense and ran with it and did a nice job. And I really felt like Pioneer was probably his turning point in how he played.
Too.
Yep, and just mixing in the run pass, and he could hurt you with your legs and his feet, and did a nice job for us, and really command that huddle. And we're really proud of him and his growth. Number 5, Oliver Morgan, played tight end and outside linebacker for us, was really our emotional leader. Did an excellent job. He was a kid. I told him last night and said it earlier, but he came in. I told him, he gave me a hug last night and said, "Man, I remember you coming in as a 7th grader in my office, and I was the assistant principal, and disciplining you, little snot-nosed kid, and he had it figured out, and he was going to be a basketball player, and took me a little bit to get him convinced to come out for football.
Players, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Indiana, damn it.
Right.
I should be in Texas or something. But he bought in, loved the process, and no doubt that football is his number 1 sport. And really loved the process, and I'd love to see his transformation for that kid and what he's done. So proud of Ollie, and definitely going to miss him. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play on Saturdays next year. Maybe at like a Manchester or D3 school, something like that. So hopefully he takes that and runs with it. Number 10, Emiliano Ortiz. He's a wide receiver corner for us. A very athletic kid. Does a lot of our return stuff. Good hand-eye coordination. Good kid. Good athletic. Good athlete on the field for us, one of our best ones we have when it comes to athlete-wise, and he's a basketball player. He is a basketball-first guy. He'll do some really good things for us on the court, and definitely going to miss him on the football field, though. Number 32, I know that you just had that highlight, but one of the few last night, Ian Brown. He was our wrecking ball. He is. He's a ton of emotion, of fire. He's 135 pounds, probably soaking wet, but he hits like he's 210 and
high motor.
Yeah, you just don't get that, man. His effort is second to none, and I talked about it. Obviously, he missed the summer with basic training, but he's going to go and serve the country, and I wouldn't want anybody else doing it. He's going to serve the front lines, and he's got a guy
like that.
Yeah. Even talking to the recruiter, he's talking about him maybe even doing like officer training school and stuff, and he'd be awesome at that. So number 40, Shane Shuman. Haven't heard that name before, right?
Who's that?
Yeah. He was tough to say goodbye to last night. No doubt. He leaves us as the all-time leading rusher in Culver history. Well over 4,000 yards. I think he finished the night, last night's season with like 1590. Obviously, I haven't gone through stats or anything like that, but 1590, I think, on the season. So just shy of a 1,600 each season. 22 touchdowns. He's definitely left his mark. He started as a freshman partway through the season, inside linebacker, and then has been our dude since. He's been over 1,000 yards every year. I think even last year we missed 2 games because of COVID.
Right.
So I had 2 more games there too. So But great kid, and the way he did it was awesome. I mean, he may not be the biggest, fastest, strongest, but his will to win and the way he did it was second to none. He just a kid that never quit and went hard every play. Number 50, Ben Lee's our defensive end right tackle. Ben's about 6'4", 6'5", and got a big wingspan, and he really did a nice job for us. He and Devin, I kind of compare. They're a package group, but they're Kling's dudes, as even the players would say. They bought into the weight room. They spent a lot of time with him, and he'll go to bat for those guys every day, and rightfully so. I think everybody would. Great kids. Man, he played well. That was our strong side. I think when you broke us down, we're probably going to run to the right a little bit more than we do the left, and those two were a big reason why. Devin Burke is number 52. Talked about him as well. He's our right guard, and then defensive end, defensive tackle, depending on what we had schemed-wise that week. Just great kids. They're going to do what they do. They're well coached, or you can coach them. I mean,
right.
They're coachable kids, and did a nice job. Devin's top 10 student, great academic. He'll be an academic all-state kid as well, and weight room numbers for those guys are outstanding. Number 58, Stephen Pugh. He was our center defensive tackle. This kid's got a special place in my heart, man. He, when we lost Reno last year, our center last year, Austin Zehner, and losing him was tough. He made all the line calls and did a lot of stuff for us, and I didn't know how we were going to replace him. I think Kling even said the same thing. And for Steven to step up and do everything Reno did last year, this year, and and then some was very impressive. I couldn't have asked for a better year for Stephen Pugh, and just the growth from last year to this year, and the growth throughout the season was second to none. He got hit early on. It might have been like week 1 or 2, and got a big contusion on his calf, and just tried to, wouldn't go down. Ended up had to go to the doctor, and he had to miss. They held him out the Triton game, and we knew, we definitely felt the loss there, because I don't think we had a first down the first half against them, and with them, I think we're a different football team, and that showed. And but he became a very good defensive tackle as well. Was our leader of the offensive line and did a nice job. And I know we had maybe one snap over the head last night, but all season he did a nice job going from, we've been an under center T team to shotgun almost every snap. So very impressed with Steven and his growth, his leadership. Last two here, 61, Travis Blankenship was our starting left tackle for the last 5 or 6 games. He got injured this summer at our football camp, and messed his shoulder up, and then didn't know if he was even going to play, and ended up coming out, stuck with it, and got cleared, and did a nice job for us. Left tackle, really started that spot and anchored it there. And then 78, Brady Bush didn't get cleared until late in the season. He had like a heart murmur issue or something with his heart, and ended up had to get a lot of tests done, had to wear a heart rate monitor, do all this stuff, and obviously want to make sure kids' health comes first. And but Brady's a big kid, man. He's like 6'4", 6'5", and 250, 260 pounds, and you wish he could have played. He came in, he played a little bit late in the game there last night, but I want to get the seniors in, and he's an emotional guy, but it says a lot about his character for him to stick it out. So.
Well, Coach, it's always tough when it ends, but I think collectively speaking, this group of 10 young men is something that, as a program as a whole, from middle school on up, is something that you as a coaching staff can point to and attest to, that hey, with hard work, this can be accomplished.
No doubt. It's something when you look at it, the growth from the start to finish has been tremendous, and can't thank those guys enough for their efforts. There's a lot that goes into a football season. You know it very well. It feels like it's been going on forever, but when you look at it, it just feels like
blink of an eye.
It is. It really is. You sit there and you're giving your speeches during 2 days and trying to get through the heat, this and that. And we've been blessed with great weather all season. We can't complain about that. I don't know the last time that
is true. It has been a good season.
You look at sectional championship, and everybody's wearing shorts, but Lambert, I don't know what his deal was, but
we'll ask him.
Yeah, but no, it's been a fun ride. This group's made it pleasurable for sure. Obviously, I want to thank my administrators. being the AD football coach is not easy. Even at 1A Culver, they pick up a lot of slack. So Brett Barrett and Josh Pugh, those guys do a great job. And then obviously Karen Shuman, our superintendent, allowing me to do both is, not a lot of schools do that anymore. So I appreciate them. And then obviously my coaches, Coach Faust, Coach Gling, Coach Croy, Coach Nice, and then Reno comes in, and Coach Hollenball comes in and volunteers a little bit as well. So thank those guys, and then obviously you guys. I can't forget my wife though. She'll kill me. She probably doesn't listen anyway. I'm sorry, but she's taking kids to wrestling. My daughter's doing wrestling, so I'm going to run over there and watch elementary wrestling here in about the next 10 minutes, and then
that'd be nice.
Yeah, she's a little bulldog, and then I got a. Two daughters and an older son that's he got to play first taste of middle school football as a sixth grader, so I'm excited to get to watch them a little bit. They're playing basketball and Zoe's doing zone, so my wife's a single parent during football season, so I can't thank her enough for letting me to do this and putting up with my mood swings and stuff during the football season. Right.
So for a later show, we will ask you how you actually evaluate yourself being the athletic director and the head football coach. We'll get into that. So that's a later show, but we appreciate your time every week, Coach, and wish you the very best here in the future.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, obviously, your coverage, and let me promote the program on every Saturday morning. I came this week because I heard Coach Radtke said we're getting paid, so that's why.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. The check's in the mail.
Yeah, all right.
Check in the mail, right?
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's head coach of the Culver Community Cavaliers, Mike Zehner, here on the Saturday Sports Line. We are so happy to be here. We have fun every Saturday morning, as it is a lot of fun. We are going to take a break. Head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Brett Lambert, is coming up next. You won't want to miss it. This is the place to be. Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. The tradition continues.
All around time, I was on my way. Thanks to you, I'm much obliged. Such a
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit, so you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you, while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
As it is 1st and 10 in Cavalier territory, ball on the 30-yard line. It's 40-0. The clock continues to roll as Aldrich Harper takes the snap and hands off to Cheyenne Allen up the middle. He breaks away. He's going to score. Touchdown, North Judson-San Pierre. Cheyenne Allen with another one to add to the resume. 46-0 here in North Judson.
And we're back here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. Along with me is sports analyst Chris McGowan. I am Mitch Columbi. We are talking the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays with head coach Brett Lambert, as he had a big win last night over Culver. We were at that game. 54-0 was the final. Good morning, Coach. You must be very proud of your win last night.
Yeah, I mean, any time you can, win a sectional championship and get a trophy, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. And for these seniors, this is their fourth sectional championship game, and they've been fortunate enough to win 3 of them. And to put that in perspective, I mean, that's, sectionals is tough in any sport, but in other sports like basketball, volleyball, that you get it all over in 1 week. But in football, it's a 3-week process. So like these seniors, they've 12 weeks of their life. I get my math there, right? Yeah, 12 weeks of their life they've had, in sectionals, and that's not counting the other, a couple, regionals and a semi-state. So, no, that's a huge accomplishment. It's, just great for the program. I'm just, we really got something going right now, and we want to keep it going.
Seems like your kids came out pretty focused last night and determined. That was pretty evident early on. Who are you particularly pleased with offensively?
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, and just to touch on that, I mean, Triton played well against us last week, but I didn't feel like we were completely on our game. So, on Monday, when we had our meeting after school, we talked about just having a sense of urgency, and just, taking advantage of the moment from the start, and just knowing that it's not guaranteed that you're going to have a next week, and knowing that if we are going to have a next week, we have to get better this week, and we have to keep improving if we want to keep winning. So yeah, just having that urgency, I really felt like that was there last night. And I challenged them during the week, and especially before the game, that Culver's a physical team, and that's kind of their MO. But we needed to be the more physical team. We knew we had some more talent, but we had to be more the physical team with them. I think we did a pretty good job of that. And again, Coach Zehner does an awesome job, and their staff, their kids. I mean, just the Shuman kids, just awesome. Like Cheyenne Allen, it's one of those names you just hear for seems like for the past 10 years.
Right.
And the kid's he's awesome. And you could just tell after the game, he was heartbroken, but he's a competitor. But getting back to us, Aldrich Harper just had an awesome game running the triple option. Let me just look down here. He was 3 for 3 passing. We didn't really throw until a few times at the end of the first half. He had a touchdown pass, but he had 10 carries for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns. And with the triple, it's just what are they going to give you? It's hard to take all 3 phases away, and I like all 3 phases that we have in it. So like they were doing a good job of taking phase 1, Brock away. Brock still ended up with 61 yards and a couple touchdowns, but they were kind of all over him. So Aldrich took advantage of it and made some just spectacular runs, and almost had a little shimmy to him. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. A little fake. I mean, he was on. And again, it was a fantastic game from him. Of course, Cheyenne had another good game. 84 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. But the offensive line got it done. Those guys have been great. And one thing for this week, and Cole Kozikar in the first quarter against Triton, he's our center, and really he might be our best offensive lineman. That he's a sophomore, but he's an all-state guy in my opinion. But he didn't even play last night. He had an injury against them, and nothing serious. But he dressed last night. If we would have needed him, he could have gone. But if we didn't need him, we weren't going to play him. It's one of those situations. So Hunter Redland stepped in at center, and I don't know, did you guys notice any bad snaps?
No.
Because I didn't either.
Right.
So that was awesome. And then Logan Radtke, who normally has just been playing offense, stepped in he just normally plays defense. He stepped in an offensive tackle, and again, we didn't miss a beat. I mean, and that just shows how much depth we have. So again, it was just an awesome game.
Yeah, we named Aldrich Harper the player of the game last night just because of the command he had of the offense, and run the triple option. It was, when you do that, I don't think people realize how hard it is, because it can be different every single play. Yeah. I mean, he did a great job of, the fullback's open, give it. Okay, the fullback's not open. And, you guys, that's probably the most I've seen all 3 phases of the triple option used in a game. So, again, just the way the command that he had. And then last night, it looked like you guys running a little bit more midline last night, too.
The midline game made an appearance again. Yeah, and that's been something. First couple of years, we did a lot of midline, and that's really fullback, just right up the center's butt crack. Really is where he's aiming for, and then you're reading the defensive tackle, and then quarterback has the option to pull, and so we did that a few times, and again for the season it really hasn't been something, but we it depends on fronts, and that's exactly the thing, and you know that. I mean, it depends on what the defense is going to give you. We're not going to try to force something to work. We're just going to evaluate how they're lining up, and you get it from film, but a lot of teams junk it up against us, so you don't always know until that first drive. But yeah, that was something that was there. And again, triple was there, and we wanted triple to work. Again, and it's one thing to say you want it to work, but it's just something I think, if we were going to go beyond last night, we thought it could be effective last night, but as we move through the playoffs, that's something that I think we could use as an advantage against other teams.
Yeah, you get the triple and the midline going. That's tough.
That's true. And then you can always throw in, you can toss it outside to Cheyenne, or Cole Wilcox. He's, did a good job. He only had a couple carries, but just, that he's effective, and he's a great blocker for us. He's a strong kid. We really got Gabe Ellis more involved as a receiver this past week. That was a decision that we made to kind of give the receivers, Trey McGowan and Josiah McDaniel, a little bit more of a break so they could be rested more for defense. But those guys do an awesome job blocking. I mean, if you watch McGowan and McDaniel and Ellis out there, they're making blocks downfield. And that's one reason you see Aldrich running wide open, with nobody touching them, because the receivers are blocking the corners and the safeties.
Exactly, and that is so hard to do as a receiver, to stalk block somebody, because you're out in all that space, and you got you can't hold, you got to keep your hands inside. But again, people don't understand how hard that is.
Oh, that's not easy, and the guys you're blocking are athletic kids.
Right.
Those are basketball type players.
Right.
But once McDaniel and McGowan and Ellis, once they get on you, those are strong kids we have, and they're athletic. So if they get a piece of you, they're going to keep going with you, and they did a good job of that.
Well, Coach, we move forward to next Friday night. Quick turnaround, really. You hoist the trophy last night, but you got to get back to work and make things happen for regionals. Let's talk about that now.
Yeah, so we're going to Park Tudor, which is, you're really in Indianapolis with Park Tudor. It's not a suburb, and you're really getting into it. So it's going to be a little bit of a travel for us. I think it's already been kind of arranged here. We'll get out of school a little bit early on Friday, but we're going to, we're not going to do a Saturday game. We're going to just business as usual. It's Friday. Get out a little bit early. Probably stop halfway with the bus. Let the kids stretch their legs. Maybe eat a Subway or something, and then got to get after it. And Park Tudor's got an athletic quarterback. I would say he's, comparable to the Shively kid from Triton. They got some quick receivers. But again, I think it's a game we'll be favored in, but that doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to win. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's no guarantees, but I feel like we can, if we can run the ball, play defense. Coach, Evan Howard does a great job for defense, and you saw that last night. I really think that we can. Hopefully, we went on the road. Yeah. We can get another home game at Liberty Field.
Well, we've got some exciting news. Our sister station, Max 98.3 FM, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WYMR, is going to make the travel, and they will be broadcasting that North Judson game at Park Tudor. So we're going to bring the media with you, and we're very excited to be able to broadcast that game. Of course, on our sister station, Tony the Boss Ross will be there doing the work for you. So we're glad to be able to broadcast that game, and congratulations on a sectional championship last night, Coach.
Well, thank you. And then just, real quick, I want to say congrats to Coach Radtke and to Knox. I mean, it's nice to see, another conference opponent, go on, and just, to have a Stark County team, to have both of us moving on. Yeah. I guess OD needs to get football, I guess. But
yeah.
But for both of us to move on, I think it's just awesome. And just, hats off to them. It's just really a cool thing for the area here. It's really nice.
Yeah, shining a light on Stark County football. It's something special around here, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, that's head coach Brett Lambert of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. More to come on the Saturday Sports Line. Russ Radtke, the head coach of the Knox Redskins, are sectional champions this morning. He is on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. 3rd and short here. Harper takes a snap, fake hands off. He's going to keep it himself as he crosses down to the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Aldrich Harper, the magician. He pulled a Houdini here in North Judson as he spun out of a tackle to score yet again. That's either his 2nd or 3rd touchdown of the night, Chris.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place. From low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
So 1st and 10 for the Blue Jays. They are in Cavalier territory again. 10:48 to go in the first half. Harper takes the snap, fake hands off, pulls it. He keeps it himself. It's the Aldrich Harper Show. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Blue Jays. Another one to add to the resume as Aldrich Harper is putting on a performance tonight, Chris.
And we're back here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. Along with me is sports analyst Chris McGowan. I am Mitch Columbi. The Knox Redskins wake up this morning, sectional champions, and we've got head coach Russ Radtke here to talk all about it. Coach, let's hear it. How did it feel?
Did you say this is the longest-running radio?
The longest-running high school sports show in Indiana, thanks to Harold Welter.
Then why do I have to put all this makeup on and comb my hair? I thought this was on TV.
Well, we can go Facebook Live if you want us to.
Okay, all right.
I just thought you were going to present yourself nice to me, Coach.
I shaved this morning at 3:30.
You did shave. It looks like a clean shave, too.
All right. The
straight razor?
No.
Not old school?
Those type of people weren't around at 3:30.
I feel like you're a type of straight razor shave guy.
Yeah,
I feel like you're that type of guy.
Yeah, it's kind of like what, you guys have a honey, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, well, you remember, it's been 50 years of coaching, 50 years of marriage, 50 years of refereeing, and then, you used to get those honey-do lists?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now you get her done list. There ain't no option.
Right.
Get her done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Martin Luther when he nailed the 95 Thesis to the wall of the priest that told him, get her done, And if that, we're out. So, Coach White and I, the other week, we were putting a toilet in. I was washing windows last Saturday.
What?
Wow.
I'm not going home. I'm not going home this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, anyway.
So, Jimtown. What happened, Coach?
I tell you, this is this is a team that is really, in all the years that has coming together. I mean, they are really gelling. The word of basketball. That you really feel it within them. And the way the defense played last night, in fact, the only touchdowns we gave up were those 21 points. We're over-pursuing, 4th downs and 2, and they end up popping them for major touchdowns.
Right.
Nothing against what they did. One was a fantastic play they called because they saw what we were doing at the box. But offensively, I think the major thing was set right off the bat. I think the kickoff return only got us to about the 23 or 24-yard line. And we drove over 8 minutes with a drive that incorporated a couple passes and went up 8-0. We only had the ball twice in the first half, and we scored both times.
Yeah, set the tone.
And they had it twice and only scored once. But we were well over before other schools were at halftime. This is because I told you it's going to be that kind of game. But Jimtown, it was a fantastic effort by a lot of young men that played hard and aggressive, and we really appreciate that type of thing. And I think the fans are seeing it right now.
Coming in this morning, I got a text message telling me, "Hey, did you hear about the I guess there was a pass deflection last night. Manuel made a heck of a play. Something."
Well, there was a tip ball that had happened at one time, and who had gotten his hands on it, I'm not sure exactly. But from there, the ball got deflected, and you're always working with coaches that are getting your hands up.
Right.
Because he's probably about 6'3", 6'4" already. And then if you have a quarterback that's in a pocket if you get your hands up, you might get a deflection.
Right.
And that was a big pass also on third down, I think, on a situation. So all those things, a little thing here and there, brings about great results. And it takes, a lot of people don't realize this, that they're kids that are the, we have a group of young men that have really come on. You got Connor Winzak, Nolan Short, Jaden Strong, Hayden Smith, Garen Phipps, Lucas Skelly, Noah Bowen, Dominic Triska, Camden Garner, Gaden Weber, Easton Minix, Maddox, Kinder, Isaac Singleton, Keyston Dixon, Philip Jones, Gavin Hardell, Peyton McNeil, Keegan Everidge, Kenneth Radsliff, Cody Keene, and Derek Kotros. By those guys, I only know them by their number, but they're our freshman sophomores that have to duplicate the opponent's offense every week. They went out and went 7-2 this year in a 21-team players. But to exemplify the opponent in a game, in practice, you're allowed 2 physical practices during the week. One's Friday game, and the other one's Wednesday. And these little guys, you get the you-know-what knocked out of them and take it and give it back to them. And as a result of what they do, the varsity gels. Then they'll be there some year, and they'll be the varsity players of the upcoming time. But if you see, those parents got to be proud and see what they were. And when they hit the field last night, when the game was over and I got done talking and so forth like that, the fans really enjoyed it. They kept trying to say, I have nothing to do with this other than just providing it for you. Congratulations, Knox. Fantastic things that occurred. Had a little kid came up to one of our coaches and bumped Bo Radtke in the shoulder and said, hey, this is just the beginning.
Wow.
She's a kindergarten.
I was about to say,
she's
how old?
She's in kindergarten, and it's a girl.
So
we got a little attitude going here now.
Things are going on.
Yeah, I like it.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
So, and she wasn't laughing. She was serious. I think she's been in one of our camps also, but maybe just to get ice cream cones and so forth like that. But she definitely shows that, like you're asking, what was it? I think over pursuing defense to where it's got to be, people substituting in and out, and Tyler and Bo and Coach White calling that offense that's really got a scheme. Because nobody plays the same defense you watch on film. You can watch all the film you want, all right, for offense, for us. Nobody plays the same thing. Everybody comes up with a new gimmick. I told you last week they had 12. They went back to a legal 11 last night.
Well, that's good.
But the things that we do and give it their opportunity really comes down to kids be kids. And I noticed that their attitudes are aggressively getting better, and they listen. We had to put things in on Thursday night already, which we hadn't practiced during the week, and they did a pretty good job with it last night.
And it's nice when you're able to take, when your offensive line is different than your defensive line, obviously. That helps in practice, number one. But number two, it gives you that opportunity. Okay, well, hey, when the defense is out there, Coach White can go over to the whiteboard and have those guys on the bench and actually scheme up, and you can look at the pictures on the sideline now and see where the defense is lining up. And now having those that leadership and that experience up front that allows you to make in-game adjustments is just vital and huge.
Hey, you used to be able to. I've been doing it like I said for a lot of years. You used to be able to say, "Oh, I'm getting double teamed. Oh, I'm getting this." You can lie to Saturday afternoon until I can get the film.
Right.
There's no lying anymore.
No lying anymore.
Instantaneously, we can watch the video and show you what it is. But that's an advantage to those kids.
Right.
Because I think we have 6 or 7 templates or whatever they're called. Is that what they call
the
it?
iPads.
iPad?
Yeah. iPad, Microsoft Touch.
Little square thing looks like a TV you walk around with.
Yeah, iPad.
And anyway, we use those things on the sidelines, and the coaches will get them for me and get them set up. We see things instantly, I tell them what we suggest, and then boom, those coaches take off, go different directions, and they get it straightened out right now.
From years ago when you guys didn't have that, do you like having the technology like that now? Does that add anything to the game, in your opinion?
Well, we used to have to bring a string, with safety pins and roll it down.
Are you serious?
We actually had a kid ran back and forth. He'd run up and down those bleachers and go to the box, get the paper, get that down. And then they would draw it on a card, and they'd bring it down and get it down to us.
To see what
and then they'd run it back. Well, heck, that might be 4 plays before, or series. So, this is just fantastic. And having end zone shots and whatever, it costs a little bit of money, and it's definitely usable. But in basketball, they don't allow you to do that,
right?
Because they cheated up. No, I'm sorry, but in basketball, you can't have that technology. I'm just saying, but you can't have that type of technology in certain sports.
Right, exactly.
But in our sports, man, it's there, and it really gives us that thing that allows kids to catch up with something. And if they can see what they have done, because you really think about it, how many car accidents or whatever, what you really think you did, it didn't really happen that way.
Right.
And so the same thing instantaneously out there on that field, if you could show them that, it's just a great opportunity to improve and make things better for us. And it takes a lot of coaches in coordination. Our junior high coaches are up in the box. Our junior high coaches are now running the end zone cameras. And so, again, it's not just a one or two man show here.
It's all hands on deck.
We've got all hands on deck ready to play right now. And we already got a group of individuals that are you guys doing a game next week?
Yes, we are.
We are.
But you can't hear it unless you're going to be in the stadium.
Sure.
No, we're going to have those Geek Squad out there that the only way you're going to get the broadcast, unless you can figure out how to get high enough, you cannot hear the game unless you're in the stands. Because I'm telling you, get down. We got to have the fans. We got to have it.
Right.
We only gotten one or two films so far, and they just don't travel well. West Lafayette, and maybe they do now. I don't know, but in a tournament run, maybe they will. But they had to go to Calumet 2 weeks ago. They had to go to Hanover Central last week, and they need to come to Knox, Indiana this week.
Yeah.
I bet they're looking on a map trying to figure out where in the world's that. Okay, because there's no easy way to get there from Lafayette. So maybe a couple deer or something on the road. Well, with some dead skunks laying here and there. But we're gonna definitely provide an environment that is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And we're going after the number one team in the state.
As we're going to say, number one team in Class 3A coming to Community Field next week.
And then they've been there.
Right.
This is the elite of Lafayette that lives right around Purdue and whatever, and they have an attitude in all the sports that they play, and it's going to take an all-out effort, and it can't just get done by the 11. We got to have that crowd. These kids really live on it. You ever notice on the sidelines, I got a headset like I got on now.
Right.
Both ears are blocked. I can't hear the crowd. I can't hear anything else. I just want to hear what the coaches are saying to each other. And they have to tap me on the shoulder to tell me something if they don't have a headset on. But I try to block everything out. But those kids don't. They really feel it. And I thought our crowd did a great job last night.
Well, Coach, great moments are born from great opportunity. Coach Herb Brooks, and you guys are presented with a great opportunity on Friday night.
And it's going to take a great effort. And hey, we're getting out early too.
Nice.
Superintendent said, "Fine, Friday." Well, we always get out early on Friday. Everybody in the school does.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, wait,
30
what?
minutes early on Friday.
Okay, right.
Everybody
so you
gets
get that
out of
little
school.
extra time.
That's because of all the traveling that has to be done for us going into Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
Our school corporation is set up so that there's an extra half hour off.
Right.
But we'll take it as we're getting out early to go to the game.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to a great game, and we appreciate your time as always. And thanks so much. Congratulations on being a sectional champion this morning.
Well, not me. It's Knox community in Stark County. Stark County football is where I don't know how many other counties in the state.
Exactly. I need to look that up. I'll find that out this week. I'll have an answer for you.
Yeah.
There's not many. Stark County football making waves right now.
And it's great. And, when those games were played, it's hard hitting, busting to everybody, but there's never any extracurricular, nothing stupid going on.
Right.
It's football, and then respect each other. And the best thing is that North Judson showed us what we weren't doing right.
And now here
Now here we are. So that's what you got to get done. And we really appreciate everybody's effort and the time to spend. So thanks a lot.
Always fun to talk with
best
head
of
coach.
luck, Coach.
Yeah,
Okay.
best of luck, Coach. Head coach Russ Radtke of the Knox Redskins here on the Saturday Sports Line. We are so glad he had a chance to stop by and talk with us. We're going to take a break, go to the top of the hour. News and weather is next. We've got our athlete of the week from last week's interview, Shane Shuman of the Culver Cavaliers at the top of the hour. Hey, we're also going to talk girls basketball, Stark County girls basketball at that. We're going to talk with OD head coach, North Judson-San Pierre's head coach, and Knox's head girls basketball coach. That's in the next hour here on the Saturday Sports Line. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, the tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, quality care closer to home. You're listening to WKVI FM 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Winnemac, playing the best of Vinyl Gold. A service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Fox News, I'm Jill Nato. The sound of a tornado ripping across Powderly, Texas, Friday afternoon. An outbreak of twisters running from Texas into Oklahoma and Arkansas. At least 24 people in the region reported hurt. Meteorologist Ian Oliver at Fox Weather.
Unfortunately, what we've seen with these tornadoes is what we feared. Powerful tornadoes, but also long track ones. These have been able to sustain themselves over a period of time and across a distance. And with that, of course, they're more damaging and more dangerous.
Search and rescue crews are going neighborhood to neighborhood looking for anyone else who may have been injured. More storms in the forecast and some flash flooding may hit parts of Oklahoma. Only a slight chance of more twisters expected for the region overnight. America's listening to Fox News.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to have someone else say it. Because for some reason, when a random person talks about how great something is in a commercial, it's more believable.
I saved with a Progressive home and auto bundle.
And there you have it. I mean, I'm not sure why she's more believable than me, but either way, you get the point about the saving. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. It'll be windy with rain showers today. 65 will be your high. Very windy. South winds at about 30 miles an hour, gusting to 51. A 90% chance of rain today. Tonight, clear, rain showers, low of 41, wind chill about 35. It'll be windy, winds gusting at 38. Now Sunday, sunny and 62. Sunday night, clear and 43. And your outlook for Monday, sunny and 57. That's your weather forecast from the station that brings you Vinyl Gold, the best music of the 60s and 70s, WKVI.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowan.
You know who it is, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Columbi from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios. We're talking about our Athlete of the Week from last week. That's right, Shane Shuman of the Culver Cavaliers. He has been electric all season long for the Cavs on the football field. He's already eclipsed 1,600 yards rushing his senior season, over 4,000 yards rushing on the ground throughout his career at Culver. He is the all-time leading rusher in Cavalier history. Here's my sit-down interview with the all-time rushing leader himself, Shane Shuman.
You've had a fantastic career here at Culver, but let's talk about this season, your senior season in particular. You started off first week, and now here we are all the way. Sectional championship game coming this Friday. Head coach Mike Zehner told me you've just eclipsed 1,600 yards this season, over 4,000 yards as a career here at Culver. Just overall, tell me about what it means to be a Culver Cavalier to you.
Being a Culver Cavalier just means putting in all the work, kind of like a blue-collar attitude. Come in every day, work hard, and then success. I think this year we're 7-4, maybe 8-4. I'm not sure, but it's all the work we put out in the field, in the practice field, in the weight room, and obviously we're all right. We're getting pretty good results.
Is there anyone on this Culver Cavalier team that's a teammate or a friend of yours that you know you can rely on, that you look to, and maybe an inspiration to you on the field?
Oh, of course. All my linemen, all of them, I can't thank them enough. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to get the 1,600 yards without him. Stephen Pugh, my center. And then I got both my guards. I got Braden Mulbash and Devin Burkett. And then my tackles, Ben Lee and Troy Blankenship. And obviously my tight end, Oliver Morgan, he's also on a lot of pulling routes, and he's blocks really well. He's been in the weight room a lot. He's been lifting. He's gotten a lot stronger. You can see his improvements over the last few years he's been playing. And also to Ethan Binion, he's also been putting in the weight room. I mean, he's only a sophomore, and he's like lifting with me. He's strong. He's fast. He's got it all. I respect him, especially stepping up as a sophomore. I mean, he didn't play very much as a freshman, but this year he stepped up. He's got a few passing touchdowns, running touchdowns on these sweeps and stuff. It's great for him to step up.
When we talk to other coaches around the area on the Saturday Sports Line, whenever a coach is getting ready to face Culver, several of them have said throughout the year, it feels like Shane Shuman's been at Culver forever. Why do you suppose people in this area, when they hear Shane Shuman, they get a little shook in their boots, so to speak, when they know they're about to face you? Why do you suppose that is?
It's what I've been doing for the last few years. I mean, I've just been running hard as I can, not going down. Those extra yards, those yards after tackle or yards after being touched, everything. I mean, and I've been running for 3 years now. It's been great. I mean, also, even as a linebacker, I've been here since a freshman. I've been starting middle linebacker, so it seems like I guess I've been here forever.
Is there anything in particular this season that you were looking forward to, a goal that you had set out for not just yourself, but maybe for the team that you're hoping to accomplish?
If it's not 3,000 yards or the 4,000 yards, obviously winning a sectional championship would be big. We haven't done it since 2009, and I think we're overdue. Hopefully we can change that. It's just something that's been on my books as a athlete.
Mm-hmm. Talk about some of the coaches on this team. I was visiting practice last week. Overall, I mean, it just seems like a great vibe. I was telling head coach Mike Zehner a little bit ago, I wish I played football after watching your practices last week. It just seems like a really fun time, but also you guys get the job done.
Yeah, it's a mixture of having a little bit of fun and getting stuff done. We got Coach Faust over from, I think, John Glenn. He's a newer coach. He's been the one giving us the pass plays that I guess you guys probably like. Another run play, spreading us out a little bit. I mean, he's been excellent. I can't praise him enough. I mean, we're getting pretty good results, so I can't thank him enough. Coach Kling with the linemen, he's been getting doing good results, everything. Croy's with us linebackers, and he's with he's the scout team. He's the one who's trying to give us good looks. I can't thank them all enough. I mean, it's all been great. Creates for a fun atmosphere.
Can you talk a little bit about your parents? What are your parents' names?
Tim and Karen Shuman. Karen's the superintendent of the school, obviously, and my father, he's retired, and he enjoys coming to all of our games, and he's a real Cavalier. I mean, he works here. I mean, he helps at the school. I think he volunteers, does everything. I mean, he's like a handyman. It's great.
As of right now, where you're sitting, what are you most proud about in your accomplishments here at Culver?
I mean, breaking 4,000 yards is obviously really good, but 3,000 because that broke the school record, which I saw as like a bigger milestone. But other than that, I mean, this year we beat Pioneer, and they've been a historic franchise. I mean, in the last few years they've won quite a few state titles, and it was a great victory for us. And just obviously other victories over like historic franchise or historic teams like Winnemac, who's been obviously pretty good lately, and just that overall.
Let's talk about that all-time rushing record here at Culver. What's it mean to you about setting the bar or setting the standard for the younger generation that may be looking up to you, maybe a freshman, maybe even some middle school football players that look up to you and see the all-time leading rusher doing what he's doing out there on the football field?
I hope it gives them something to aspire to get in the weight room and be like, you know what, that's going to be me. I want to beat that record. That's what I want. That's what I want to aspire to the younger Cavaliers here. If I can do that, then I see it as a success.
Well, Shane, thank you so much for your time. Good luck. Congratulations on over 4,000 yards in a career. I mean, anywhere, that is fantastic. But to do it here at Culver, I'm sure you're so proud. And is there anyone that you'd like to say hello to this morning?
Probably my dad. I'd assume he's listening. Maybe Karen, too. Just say hi.
All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Another one to add to the books. Love that interview. Shane Shuman, the all-time rushing leader at Culver Community. That one's going to be in the archives forever. And just like Shane said, the bar has been set at Culver. It could be a long time before that record ever gets broken, but I'm so happy I got a chance to sit down and talk with him. I also want to appreciate the athletic director and head coach of the football team, Mike Zehner, for all his access he has granted me throughout this year. Of course, big thank you to the high school principal, Brett Barrett, for allowing us to use his office for the interview. Always love going over to Culver to chat some sports. As we are going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Line. From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios, you're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
Here's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios on K99.3.
We are back here on the Saturday Sports Line as we are transitioning into basketball season already. Can you believe it? Girls basketball already started this past week. I stopped by Oregon Davis on my way to work yesterday, got a chance to talk with head coach Aubrey Lady. Of course, she is also the athletic director there, very busy doing a lot of things over there at OD, and I'm sure they appreciate the heck out of her. But here is what she had to say about her Lady Cats going into the 2022-2023 season.
We're, trying to get back into the full swing of things and make sure that we're learning and understanding the different drills that we're doing, and not only that, but the fundamentals, making sure that we are understanding what we're doing, not just going through the motions. We're hoping to get everybody back healthy and ready to go. We have a couple out, but soon hopefully they'll be back, and then we'll be full go and be ready to go for the rest of the season.
Talk about the numbers for this team. How many do you have?
We have 12 this year, so we're up 5 from last year, which is great. We have 6 newcomers. 2 are sophomores, and then we have a foreign exchange student who's from Germany, and she's a great asset to us. The girls love her. And then we also have 3 freshmen. So, we have the others that are returning, which is great. That they're being veterans and trying to help out those underclassmen and make sure they know what they're doing. But it's great to have numbers this year, so we're able to play a little bit of JV, which has been a while since we've done that. Went to go get uniforms the other night, and I completely forgot about JV uniforms, so we had to go through that too. But no, it's great to have numbers again, and hopefully we can continue on with this and keep them going.
So what's the competition like on this team? Is the starting 5 kind of hard to nail down for you?
It is. They, and I tell them, there's not a set 5. It can change from night to night. It can change from practice to practice. It's all about coming in and working hard and showing me that you want it. And, obviously we have injuries or we have some out, and once they come back, they'll be working their way into. But the good thing is that, we don't have that set 5 right now that we can just shuffle them in and out, and stays the same. You don't see a big drop off or anything. So to be able to do that makes it a little bit easier on us, and we can hopefully stay fresh so that we aren't getting too winded. We do need to work on our conditioning a little bit more, but like I said, we can work on that. So,
is there anyone on this team right now that you would say has really surprised you to start the season?
Our freshman Gabby Krause came out, and we worked over the summer. We went to a few different camps and shootouts and things, and she wasn't as physical as we like her to be. Going up against seniors, it is intimidating, but she came out our first game, and it was like a 180. And, I pulled her over the side. I said, I don't know who this is, but I love it. And she just giggled. She's quiet, but she works hard. She's all over the floor. And, all of our freshmen have kind of stepped up. When you're playing against seniors, it's a shock at the beginning, and I pulled them over. I said, okay, you got your first 4 minutes in. Now you're the same as everybody else. But, the good thing is we have our seniors who are stepping up to help out our underclassmen, and, they've done it for 4 years. They know where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. Every once in a while, McKenna might have to shove Sarah over to the side and say, hey, this is where you're supposed to be. But that's what we want,
Sarah
as opposed
Thompson.
Yes. So as opposed to, just looking at each other and not saying anything, which is good. And Sarah's done a very good job down low. Obviously, it's a little bit more physical than 8th grade was. But she's starting to learn it. We just have to work on our entry passes, getting them into her. Once we can figure that out, our inside-out game, if it's not there and they double down, then someone's open. And being able to play up against other teams, these last 2 teams were really good teams, but being able to see those different things and know, okay, now I have 2, I have to figure out quicker who's open as opposed to waiting until I'm trapped. But she's doing a pretty good job. She's our leading free throw shooter right now. We are not shooting very good from the line, but we'll work on that. So Kylie Saylor started us off at the top. She's our defensive person, and she just has to understand, and she knows that she's got to be all over the court because it starts with her, and if she's not going, then everybody else is going to do the same. Day after day, they get better. We just have to make sure we're getting more in shape because that's the OD Lady Cat way, and as long as we can do that, we can hopefully outrun other teams, and that's our go-to. So,
talk about this coaching staff. Who do you have with you here at Oregon Davis?
My JV coach and assistant is Lexi Minix, my sister. Another assistant is Jamie Herford, who is now Jamie Moorfield, and then my dad, Terry Minix.
So from the outside looking in, it looks like this Oregon Davis organization has quite the staff. 3 state champions leading the charge here. One of them is you, of course, yourself. What do you think that provides to the team? I mean, surely they know that you have a ring at home.
Yeah, I mean, just understanding what it takes to get there, and that I've been through it. I tell them, they complain, why do we do so much running, or why do we have to do this? Why is practice this long? And, I've been there. I've done that. Yeah, that's what it takes to get that state championship. That's what it takes to get a sectional championship. And they don't just say, hey, you're Oregon Davis, so here you go. But being able to have that experience and say, to speak from experience and say, this is what we did. It's not the same now, but you're going to have to do more than the bare minimum to be able to get to where you want. And that's in life. It doesn't matter if it's just your job or at home with your family, but they have to understand that they're going to have to put in time and effort, and it may be something that they have to sacrifice outside of what they want to, but in the end, it's going to be better for them, and they're going to learn from it.
So let's catch up with you guys. You've already had 2 games to start the season. May have not gone the way you wanted it to go, but I'm sure there were some learning things that your young team went through.
Absolutely. I mean, we try to tell them different things in practice, and they look at us like, and so we were able to, this is what we do in practice. This is to help you in this instance. This is to help you in this instance. We have to make sure that we're going game speed, because if we're not going game speed, once we get in a game, we're going to go that same speed. But they were able to kind of understand what each other can do, what their role is on the team, which obviously helps us out. We played 2 very good teams, and also to be able to watch those players on the other team. I mean, we played the stout girl from Elkhart last night, and she's shifty. She can get to the rim. She's a great defender. But just being, even when they're out or when she's guarding them or whatever, just being able to see that and try to, do some, not exactly what she's doing, but understand and kind of do some of the things that she's able to do. But we were able to kind of see where our low areas were. Our free throws, I think we shot 40% the first game and 50% the next. So, that's an area that we can work on. Obviously, that's something easy. That and our passing. We do have a lot of underclassmen and girls that haven't played at the high school level yet, and those little rainbow passes aren't going to get there, and now they know, which is good. And the good thing about these last 2 games is they're done and over, and it really doesn't matter. In the end, we're still going to play in sectional, and it doesn't matter what your record is, but to learn along the way. And I think they're doing that because they do. It took us 4 quarters to get where we wanted to, but that 4th quarter was pretty good. Monday, or the first night, we ended up winning the 4th quarter 14-3. And last night, I think it was a 1-point difference. But, and same with the 3rd quarter. But they have to, it's not just 1 quarter. It's got to be all 4 quarters put together and everybody working together. So.
And we move forward into this coming week. Tuesday the 8th, you have a game, and then Friday. But talk about what your preparation is going into Tuesday.
The little things. Hustle, our passing, and understanding where we're supposed to be out on the floor. And having fun. I mean, it sometimes at times you get down because let's say they go on a 10-0 run. The basketball is a game of runs. It's going to happen. Hopefully we're on the good side of that, but sometimes you're not. So we just have to understand that we can't change it, make up for it the next play. And I think now that they've gotten a few games in, going into next week playing against Trinity and Lakeland, that we'll be able to kind of put the things that we learned this week into play and make sure we're running our fast break and make sure we're getting out wide and make sure that we're rebounding and actually putting a body into somebody and not standing in front, but being able to show them, on film, hey, this is what you're doing, this is what I see, this is what you need to do, and having them actually be able to see it, because sometimes when you tell them, no, I did this. No, here we go. And just that visual does help.
Nice to start the season off at home for the first 2 games. First taste on the road at Trinity Green Lawn, like you talked about, and then at Lake Christian. Both away games will be the first 2 for the season. Talk about traveling and what you prepare your team for.
It's the same as any other game. We just have to make sure that, on the way there that we're preparing for it and not goofing around and things. But once we get there, we do our same routine each time, warm up with shots, stretch, make sure that those few seniors who are sitting out for the JV game are helping those underclassmen, and so they understand during their game and cheering them on and things. But really it all comes down to us playing our game, and, we don't typically do a scout and change up our game for the opponent. We just do our game and we go from there. But yeah, as long as they're having fun and working together, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more accepting to buy into the process.
Well, always appreciate getting a chance to get over to Oregon Davis, and thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you in the next couple weeks about several wins here.
All right, I appreciate it.
We are going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We've got head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays girls basketball team, Bayley Goodman. She's on the other side of the break. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked 3rd most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowan on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
And we're back here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. It's time to talk basketball. That's right, girls basketball has started. We've got North Judson-San Pierre girls basketball coach Bayley Goodman on the line, as she is so gracious to give us a few moments to talk about this upcoming season. How are you today, Bayley?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. You know, basketball is my favorite sport, and of course here in Indiana it means something. And I know over at North Judson, talking with Athletic Director Mike Sharkozy, basketball is taken very seriously there at North Judson, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it definitely is. I got to learn that firsthand last year when it was my first season. I think the first Knox game, I was really broken in. The whole crowd was there. I don't know if there was an empty seat available.
No, and I've been to that game before. There's something about the night before Thanksgiving when Knox and North Judson meet up. It's a game no one wants to miss. You're exactly right. And we look at your schedule. I got your schedule from Mike Sharkozy, a pretty full schedule. Tell me overall what you like seeing in your schedule this season for the girls.
Overall, I think our schedule strength is pretty good. I didn't want our schedule to be too easy because then you get into tournament time and, you might not be as prepared as you would if you play those tougher teams. You always learn more from your losses than your wins. So I want to give our girls the best chance to be as good as they can by the time tournament comes around. So we want to play those Valparaisos and those 4A schools and the really good 3A schools to kind of give us a chance to learn what we're about, what we need to work on. That way we can be ready to go come tournament time.
Talk about this team a little bit. I know you've practiced. How long have practices been going on, actually?
So practices, this is our third week. So we had 2 full weeks of practices, which was nice. We started over fall break and did 2-a-days. We've been in the gym, been in the weight room, been doing agility. I've had a couple people come and be like guest speakers. I had Jan Connor come and put the girls through a circuit. So we've really just been trying to get in the best shape as we can before games start hitting.
What's your philosophy when it comes to conditioning? I had a coach that we ran most of the practice before we touched a basketball. What's your philosophy in practice when it comes to conditioning?
I like to get the girls moving with the ball in their hand as much as possible. You can sit on the sideline and run back and forth, but I think you get the most out of it whenever you condition within a drill. So we try to do that as much as possible. We still do some conditioning drills. But most of it comes from their own. Like if you miss a free throw, okay, then you have a down and back, things like that. So they're in control of a lot of their conditioning, and it's based on their performance, their effort, and their attitude throughout practice.
Talk a little bit about this team in terms of competition. Is it going to be hard getting that starting 5 together?
So I have a lot of girls back from last season. I lost Gabby Boyd. She was a senior. She was our point guard last year. Olivia Burkett has actually moved into that position. Morgan Hensley is another senior that's back, as well as Sophia Frazier. They were great for us last year. I have Kylie Lehigh, who has her freshman year under her belt and is looking to have a good sophomore season as a varsity starter for me. And then Reagan Hensley is a junior for me, who is also going to be a starter. So I have a good core 5 coming back from last year. I do have 20 girls. 10 of them are freshmen, so we are pretty young. Wow. Past that point. So past my starting 5, and then I have my 6th man's a junior. So after that point, we are pretty young, and I have 2 foreign exchange students as well. So I only have 7 girls that were on the team last year. But they bring a lot of skill and a lot of grit to the team, and they've been very competitive in practice, so that's been good to see.
So share with us, if you can, a little bit of the message that you have been telling your girls, especially those 7 that have been with you before, but what's the message been thus far to start out the year?
We have January 31st in mind. That's the very first day for sectional play, and, we want to start working towards that now. We don't want to wait till sectional gets closer to all right, let's lock in, let's do that now. We want to make sure that everything we do, we're putting in towards the postseason. Obviously, we still care about conference and our regular season, but at the end of the day, none of that matters once you hit tournament time. I think there's a little bit of a sour taste in our mouth from last year. We lost 4 games by 2 or less points. We played the number 1 team in the state, South Central, last year and only lost to them by 5. And again, we have a lot of returners back from last year. So if we can play the number 1 team like that, then I hope that our girls can fight like that throughout the whole season and then into the tournament as well.
In your opinion, speaking on that, what is the overall goal for this year's North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays?
The overall goal is we definitely want to send a message that we're here. We want to be one of the toughest teams that people play. We want to be the most conditioned, out-hustle teams, kind of control the stuff that we can control. We can't control if another team is just shooting out of their mind or just having the night of their lives, but we can control whether or not we dive after the loose balls or if we're talking on defense or going as hard as we can throughout the game and leaving it all out there. So we definitely want to send the message that, we're here to play. We want revenge from last season, and we're not going to stop until we get it.
Talk about this year's coaching staff. Who do you have with you down there at North Judson?
So this year I have Kayla Zimmerman, who is back from last year. She's been with me. She was the 8th grade coach when I got here. And when I took the job, I moved her up to JV with me. And she's been great. She's very good with the JV. Sometimes you have to have patience when teaching them new skills, teaching them new plays from the middle school level and up. And she has that, and she has been great with it. And then new this year is Whitney Combs. She is a former North Judson star. She was on the 2005 state runner-up team and has been a great addition. She knows a lot about strength training and has a couple certifications in that, so she's been a huge role in that aspect for us. And then she brings another sort of intensity level to our staff that we really needed, and it keeps the girls on task and keeps them moving. So I have a pretty solid coaching staff. It's just the 3 of us, but I think we work very well together, and I'm looking forward to having those 2 with me on the sideline this year.
Is there a game that you and the coaching staff have circled on your calendar in particular, or is it just one game at a time for the Blue Jays?
I'd say it's definitely one game at a time, but we do have Knox scheduled. That is a cross-county rival for us. Last year we lost to them by 1 point in a nail-biter game at our place, and so we definitely have them circled, and that's definitely a revenge game that I know that the girls are looking forward to having.
Is there any other players on the team that have really stepped up through practice and maybe surprised you heading into the season?
There are a few freshmen. Mariah Lau, she played at the Lutheran school, so she hasn't been a part of North Judson until this year. But she's very quick, very athletic. Same thing with Kaya Burkett, which is one of my seniors' younger sisters. She's a freshman. She has the same defensive grit as her older sister, Olivia Burkett, gets her hands on the ball. And Molly Matson is another girl who is a freshman who has really surprised me. She's a 6'1" post player with guard abilities and can shoot the 3-point shot. So that will be really good for us once we get them a little bit of varsity experience.
Well, it's just been an excellent conversation here. I appreciate you giving us a preview for this year's North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. Looks like the girls' team has a lot of goals in mind, and we look forward to broadcasting several of your games throughout the year. Of course, we will be at that first one that you had mentioned the night before Thanksgiving, that historic rivalry between North Judson and Knox. Such a fun atmosphere to play in, and I appreciate your time so much today. Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. That's head coach of the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays, Bayley Goodman, here on K99.3 WKVI. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Line. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
since 1936. Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Back for more here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. I am Mitch Columbi. We are talking Knox Redskins girls basketball this morning. I have with us head coach Neill Minix as they played Munster on November 2nd this past Wednesday. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But first, Coach, let's talk about overall preview. Give us a rundown of this Knox Redskins lady team.
Good morning, Mitch. Yeah, we have senior returner Addie Eskridge, all-conference player last year. We also have Riley Messer, the senior, that she was honorable mention all-conference last year. And then the junior class of Morgan Downs was also honorable mention of all-conference last year. We got those three, and then Ella Fairchild and Cadence Qualls. They'll round out the junior class. And then for varsity time, sophomore Portland Minix. And then we'll have one freshman that will give us some varsity time right now, and that is Rylan Jordan. So, those girls been working hard, been in the gym. It hadn't been that long, honestly, to start playing games already, but they've been coming every day, and I can already see improvement from the first day of practice, and that's all we can ask for. And we tell them just come in every day, work hard, try to be better today than you were yesterday. And they're doing that, and I'm excited to see how the season goes.
In the short amount of time that you've had to prepare for the season, has there been anything stand out in practice that has surprised you?
Not really. I guess our depth probably. We can go seven deep pretty easily, and that 6th and 7th player, could work their way in, or could be argued for maybe even a starting spot along the way as it goes if they continue to work hard and play well, and that's a good thing. That's what we preach the competition on the daily basis, and just prepares them better for the game. And we got to do that and be a little more physical. And we're not real big, so we got to make sure that we are boxing out. That's probably our biggest issue right now, is trying to find a body all the time and get it on somebody before we go right after the ball. In years past, I was kind of spoiled with a couple 6-footers always, and they get away with just going for the ball because they're going to get it to it before anyone else. So that's going to be a little different for us. We got to be able to protect the ball. Our outside shooting, though, as it goes, we got a lot of girls that can shoot it from outside, and we're excited to see that.
This time of year reminds me when I was playing basketball, of course, it was all about conditioning, getting ready for the season. What's your conditioning philosophy?
Yeah, we condition them quite a bit. If you talk to them, there's some days in practice where they're almost crawling out of there. So we expect a lot from them, and it's hard. We know you can't get in shape overnight, but at the same time, you really got to push yourself, and it's going to take a few weeks to get to where we want to basketball shape. It's a lot different than coming from the other sports, because you're always moving in basketball, and you got to be ready to, at any moment, sprint to the other end or sprint for a loose ball, and then, keep staying low and sliding and cutting people off. So there's a lot going on with conditioning, and like you said, it's hard at the beginning of the year. It comes so fast like that we're not where we need to be right now conditioning wise, but we will get there. And they continue to push themselves every day, and there's been some like I said, some rough practices, but we've made it through.
Who do you have with you on the coaching staff here in Knox?
My assistant coach is Augie Gappa, and then my JV coach is Paige Gappa.
Is there anything in particular that they provide to the practices and games that you admire and really like?
Yeah, I respect both their opinions. They're both honest all the time, and that's what I ask for. If there's something that they see that they in practice or whatever, if they see a girl not doing what she's supposed to, they'll go right in and start working with that girl and explain in a good way of how it's supposed to be done. And then same thing with, I rely on them with phone calls and texts back and forth about different things at practice or different game plans. And Augie, he does a good job of breaking down film and tagging our good plays and our bad plays and things like that on Huddle, and does that. And then Paige just does a real good job with getting some things organized and just communicating with the players. They look up to her. She's a great role model for them, and they trust her, and she does it in a good way where, she'll have their back and stuff like that. But at the same time, if, she won't go against something that we don't want. She's good for the program as far as, like I said, the girls trust in her and she gets along well with them, but at the same time, she holds them accountable. And if, they need something said to them because they're not going hard or something, she does that as well.
We're talking with Neill Minix, head coach of the Knox Redskins girls basketball team. It says here you're in your 9th season there. Is that true?
Yes. Yep. 9th year. Doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has, I guess.
Well, I know you guys played on Wednesday against Munster, but going into the season, was there a game on the schedule that you have circled, or has the team had circled one that you're really looking forward to?
Honestly, probably all of them. There's, of course, you got your local schools that we look forward to playing every year and stuff like that. But, we try to approach every game, and my philosophy through the years, and as I've learned and been around it more, is try to worry more about your team than who you're playing. I tell them we'll prepare you. We'll do the scouting reports and all that, of course, and get that ready for whatever team we're playing. But we're going to prepare you to go into every game. Every game's just as important. We'll take it one game at a time, trying to win that game. And if we don't win it, we'll go back and reflect on it and see some things we can change to make it better for the next game. And we just want to be out there playing and improving. And it's with us. We do have some upperclassmen, but at the same time, if you look at us as a whole, we don't have a lot of returning players that with a lot of experience in the varsity for a lot of minutes. We probably have the three I named. Addie, Riley, and Morgan. Those three had a lot of varsity time last year, but the others were hit and miss. They play some split between JV and varsity. So now new roles for those girls. And as the year goes, you're going to see those roles, getting better and better.
All right, let's move on in and talk about the first game of the season against Munster. You traveled to Munster this past Wednesday. Give us a quick rundown of what happened.
Yeah, Munster, they're going to be much improved. They have a freshman. She's really good. She ended up with 27 points against us. She had a good night. She's long and athletic and fast, and she's going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams throughout the year. So they pressed us. They're a lot bigger than us, and we struggled with that in the first quarter a little bit. They got jumped out to a big lead in the first quarter, and then we fought back and we continued to fight the entire game. Rebounding was another thing that they just out-rebounded us. They're a lot bigger than us. That's the part I was talking about, needing to box out, and we'll work on that. We do every day, but there's going to be a little more emphasis on that starting today. And then we back and forth a little bit. We cut it, got us continued to fight, and we ended up losing 72-60. So I was very proud of the girls for the way they fought. And then offensively, we did some good things. We hit, I think we had 9 or 10 threes, so that was a positive. Mm-hmm. I think Portland had 4. Morgan Downs had 3. I know Addie Eskridge had 1, and I think someone else hit 1. Ryland Jordan hit 1. And then for the game, Portland Minix and Morgan Downs led us with 17 points apiece, and Addie was our third leading scorer with 11. And then our other senior, Riley Messer, she got in foul trouble early. She didn't play a lot of minutes. I think she picked up her second foul midway through the first quarter. I took her out. As soon as I put her back in to start the second quarter, the very first possession, she was called for an illegal screen, gets her third foul. So she sits till halftime. Well, then third quarter comes, basically the same thing. Within the first minute, she gets her fourth foul. So she sits again until the fourth quarter. So, she couldn't get in a rhythm just being on the bench most of the night because of foul trouble and stuff. But I was proud of, our younger girls of Portland and Morgan, and Cadence Qualls came off the bench, did a nice job. Ella Fairchild did a nice job. And then Ryland Jordan, our first varsity time as a freshman, did very well. So we're encouraged by some things we did, but there's, definitely some work to do.
Well, we move on into tonight. You face John Glenn, your first home game of the season. Tell us what you know about John Glenn and what you have your girls prepared for tonight.
Yeah, I was able to watch them on film, but versus Triton, they ended up losing by 8. That was a game that they were leading most of the way. I know they're fast. They're not real big, but they're quick, and they're going to put it up from the outside. So we got to be ready to get on shooters, and be able to move the ball and be able to handle their press. We're going to get pressed by them as well, and we need to settle down. Last night against Munster, we played a little too fast. This time we need to just relax, reverse the ball, get to our spots. If we can handle that and not turn the ball over, we'll be in it to give for a chance to win at the end.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. Our first game, first time I'll be able to meet you, will be the night before Thanksgiving. The historic rivalry between North Judson-San, Pierre, and Knox. Very much looking forward to that game, as that is not a game anyone should miss in this area. Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that's head coach of the Knox Redskins girls basketball team, Neill Minix, here on the Saturday Sports Line. We're going to take a break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winnemac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Coke knows there's nothing better than the beat of the summer. The beat begins in a simple and mellow place, from low-key to hyped up. So we're helping you and your friends drink it all in with 100 days of the artist's experiences, tracks, and concerts with the best names in music, all at Coke Studio. Drink, scan, and enjoy your Coke so you never miss out on all the amazing offers we're dropping this summer.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of WKVI radio covering local high school sports. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we get ready to start our 54th year of broadcasting high school basketball here on WKVI, I thought we'd go back and talk with one of the players who was playing in that first year that we broadcast high school basketball. That would have been back in the 1969-70 season. And a few years ago, we had an opportunity to talk with Rick Brown, a member of the Knox Redskins boys basketball team back in that first year that we were broadcasting. And I just thought it would be fun to listen to that conversation again and reminisce a little bit about our first year of broadcasting high school basketball here on WKVI. Well, as we look back on 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley area on WKVI, our guest today is Rick Brown. He's a 1970 graduate of Knox High School, and we want to know, Rick, where are you now and what are you doing?
Thanks, Harold. I appreciate that. I am currently retired, along with my wife, Patty, and we live in Indianapolis. We have been here for 24 years. Actually, my wife has lived all her life here. I worked at Indiana National Bank as a vice president for 26 years. Enjoyed my time there, and have also kept in contact actually with Knox, as my father still lives in Knox.
Well, I want to reminisce a little bit, and when I think of that first year we were broadcasting, very early in that basketball season, there were two remarkable games that you played in. The first was at North Liberty, in which you broke the school scoring record for a single game that had stood for 16 years. You scored 42 that night, but that record only lasted a week. But I want to go back to that North Liberty game. What do you remember about that?
You know, it's interesting because I don't actually recall a lot about that game. the amazing part is that the thing that I remember the most about that game was actually towards the end of the game. And my brother Bob had been inserted into the lineup. He stole a pass at about midcourt, hit me with a perfect pass for a layup, which would have been my 43rd and 44th point, and I missed the layup. So unfortunately, the part that I remember about that game is taking away.
Well, one thing I've always thought, in more recent times, if you'd have had a three-point basket back then, you would have probably had 52 instead of 42.
I think that's correct, because I do believe a few of those shots were from some distance. I have to thank my teammates. They looked for me that night with abandon, actually. They got me to the ball almost every possession.
1 week later, you're back at home and you're playing Culver, and your school record of 42 points stood for 1 week. Denny Garland scores 50 against Culver, but the thing that stands out to me is you had that outstanding scoring night, and then a week later, you were the guy that led the team in assists, getting the ball to Garland to break your record. Tell us about your feelings on that one.
In all honesty, that at that time always made me happier than scoring a basket. I enjoyed making assists. That night was really special. Denny was so dominant inside. And once again, it wasn't just me, but there were several other teammates that assisted to get Denny the ball that night because he was on fire. I think that, again, the assists for me made me the proudest. I ended up that senior year second in the state in assists behind a gentleman by the name of Monty Tao, who ended up going to play and having a great career at North Carolina State.
Right. Now, growing up, as you played in high school, Rick, who were some of the people who were like role models for you, or who helped you be successful in athletics?
There were several. I will start with my dad, who got me interested in sports at an early age. Dad was my Little League coach when I was 8, 9, and 10 years old. He got me to appreciate team sport and all that it brought. My coaches, especially Ralph Scholes in junior high, was absolutely great in terms of teaching fundamentals. Mr. Drews was excellent as my freshman coach. And Chuck Kristen kind of took me under his wing as the new basketball coach at Knox and put a lot of trust in me as his point guard.
And you were on that team the year before as a junior that won a sectional when you weren't supposed to.
That was that probably, if you looked at the high point of my basketball career at Knox, that game against Culver was definitely it. We had been kind of blown out by Culver earlier in the year.
Right.
They were heavy favorites to win the sectional again. Again, I don't remember a lot about that game because it was such a blur. But I do remember at the end of the game coming down on a 2-on-1 against the Culver star and hitting Rod Pollock for a layup that ended up being the game winner. It was a thrill. I loved winning the sectional. Unfortunately, the next year as a senior, I had one of my lows, getting beat by North Judson in the sectional in 1970. So, but you win the highs, and you got to learn to live with the lows too.
We want to talk a little bit about that, too, here in a moment. We're talking with Rick Brown, a 1970 graduate of Knox High School, on our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll be back to continue our conversation after this timeout.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs for $1.29. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Rick Brown, a 1970 graduate of Knox High School. Rick, what did you gain from being a high school athlete that helped you be successful in life later?
Yeah, I think the most important thing was building relationships, learning how to communicate with people, both teammates, coaches, and even opponents. I think you learn a lot of self-respect. And again, it also made me learn how to budget my time. I ended up playing 4 sports at Knox High School, and so obviously I had to learn to budget my time in terms of handling all those sports as well as the classwork, which was important.
Well, we want to thank you for taking time and visiting with us, Rick, and I especially want to take this opportunity to thank you with providing us a lot of exciting action in our first year of broadcasting back there in that 69-70 season.
Well, I sure thank you guys. I think it's a great thing to have WKVI. It was wonderful because I know that our gym was always full when we played. And I'm sure there were some people that couldn't get there, and they had another outlet to be able to at least listen to the game. So thank you very much, Harold.
Our guest on Where Are They Now has been Rick Brown, a 1970 graduate of Knox High School. Join us again next week here on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winnemac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winnemac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Hope Welsh, a member of the volleyball team at South Central. Hope had an amazing season for the Satellites. Not only did she help her team win sectionals, as a setter, she reached 2,000 career assists just in her junior year. Hope is the daughter of Andrea Welsh, who is also the head coach of the volleyball team. Her father's name is Rick Welsh. She's also a member of the girls basketball team at South Central. Congratulations to Hope Welsh of South Central, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Hope will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a t-shirt commemorating her achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. She will be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winnemac. I'll work on getting that interview this week, as that is going to do it for us here on the Saturday Sports Line. Another one down in the books. I so appreciate all of you that tune in each and every Saturday morning. Don't forget the replay every Sunday right here at 6 p.m. Central. I am Mitch Columbi. The tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowan.